So a couple of weeks ago, I posted a spoiler-free review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Today we are going to be doing a spoiler review. I have written a script for this one because the spoiler-free video was literally about 30 minutes when I got home from the cinema after watching it. So my reaction trying to talk about it spoiler-free was very rushed, and I could tell because I kept saying I really enjoyed the movie, which I did. But saying that over 8 times isn't really professional in a review about a movie. But today we're going to be talking about the full spoiler review for Deadpool and Wolverine. I wasn't sure when to talk about this. I didn't know if I gave it enough time for people to see it. But Marvel just dropped the trailer today with a lot of spoilers that happened in the movie. So I thought it would be okay to talk about it now. And the footage I will be using to talk about stuff from the spoilers will be from the trailer. Only from the trailer itself. Without further ado, let's get on to the spoiler review. So I think the biggest highlight towards this movie was definitely the cameo. We obviously got characters like Pyro. We got some of the X-Men villains from that wide shot of the trailer with the dead Ant-Man with the mask coming up. We saw a load of the villains along there. However, the cameos that was so hidden from the leaks was crazy because we got characters like Blade. We got Happy Hogan. We got even Chris Evans returning, and they set him up like he was going to be Captain America with the blue poncho and the red gloves, like an apocalyptic style looking Captain America. And Deadpool gets all excited because he's like, oh my god, it's Captain America. He's excited after fighting Wolverine. But no, we got it caught off guard because Deadpool was like, oh my god, he's gonna say the line. He's gonna say Avengers Assemble. But instead he says Flame On. And he turns into the Human Torch from them Fantastic Four movies, which I think personally was cleverly done to kind of catch people off guard and give a nice callback to Chris Evans' character. As well as characters that was mentioned off screen like Magneto, Daredevil, Quicksilver, Punisher. There's like a line where Deadpool's like, which Punisher? It's been about 5. And Blade's like, there's only one of me. But I do also want to talk about Channing Tatum as Gambit. I didn't know about the Gambit movie at the time because I'm very sheltered and I live under a rock. So from what I've heard, there was meant to be a Channing Tatum Gambit movie that was cancelled. I don't know what caused the cancellation. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, he was a really good character and he played Gambit really well. However, my friend said he was close to being just a joke character with his accent, and Deadpool kind of brought that line up saying, oh, who's your dialect coach? The Minions. When he was fighting with the rest of the Resistance in the Void against Cassandra Cain, his scenes was just badass. And it was a really good fight scene between the Resistance in the Void, which was Elytra, Gambit, X-23, Blade, Wolverine and Deadpool fighting alongside each other to fight, teaming up alongside each other to fight Cassandra Cain. Oh, he was about to make a name for himself right there. Also, I must say, when X-23 put on the glasses, I felt the same emotions as I did when I watched Logan for the first time. It really felt heartwarming seeing that happen. And just having Daphne Keane back as X-23 was great. Obviously, I got a little bit mad that she was shown in the trailers after she kept saying to people that she wasn't in the movie. We could have the perfect Andrew Garfield situation again, but it happens, I guess. Speaking of Cassandra Nova, she was quite a villain. She was trying to manipulate Deadpool, making him feel like he didn't matter and trying to talk about what happened to Wolverine's past. She was a total badass for the evil twin of Charles Xavier. But the story of her, she was living in the void and she made it her home, was a bit of a weird touch on the character, but an interesting one nevertheless. Yeah, Mr. Paradox in the TVA. He was working off the grid, making a machine that would destroy Deadpool's world. Was an interesting way to try and move them over to the MCU. But of course, it was a little weird with the ending. They had like Deadpool and his family still in that universe. So it's kind of weird because I thought this would be like, they would all jump into the MCU together. Only we can find out, time will tell, what Deadpool is going to do towards the future movies with him and Wolverine and possibly all the other characters that are at the end scene when they're all having dinner together, which was a nice little touch towards the end. So I might get into something you might disagree on right now, but one of the things I didn't like in the movie was how they brought Wolverine's past, like what happened, because he was meant to be established as like the worst Wolverine in all of the multiverse. And they set it up like he came home drunk to the X-Mansion and the humans killed all the mutants. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way they did that. After what one of my friends told me about a certain comic book run where Mysterio like brainwashes and manipulates Wolverine's mind, making him see stuff he's not really seeing. And he goes on a killing spree in the comics. But when Mysterio stops his hallucinations, he realizes he's killed all the X-Men. That would have been a cool thing. Just like a name drop of Mysterio that did it, all this problems to him and making him kill all the X-Men and regretting it for the rest of his life. That could have been like something, a nice touch towards the character, rather than having the whole X-Men Days of Future Past where the humans finally found a way to kill all the mutants. I just thought it would be a bit more of a tragic situation than just having the humans just kill them all because they're mutants. If people say, oh, when the humans built Sentinels, there was no Sentinel mention in this. It was just the humans did it. So make of that what you will. But I just think Mysterio making Wolverine see some things, him going on the killing spree he does in that comic run, and then realising he's killed all the X-Men, I think that would have been a dark twist on that character, making him even more motivated to try and change his timeline, which Deadpool lied to him about, and making him more personal to fight Deadpool about it. Other than that, it was truly amazing seeing all these Wolverine variants. Like, we got the Age of Apocalypse, which was definitely I've never read Age of Apocalypse, but it looked really good with the whole apocalypse feature. I used to be like a mega fan of like the dystopias and like zombie apocalypse. I think you all know I used to be a big fan of the apocalypse stuff back in the day, but I'm not really as much as I am anymore. But yeah, I liked seeing that. It was definitely nice to see something I used to like, as well as the Patch comic accurate size Wolverine. That was a funny one to see. Old Man Logan, I still need to read that comic. I will at some point, trust me. And then Henry Cavill as Wolverine was the one that went. It was really good to see that cameo. It was unexpected, but a welcome one nevertheless. Especially when Deadpool's like, we'll treat you so much better than them people down the street. Obviously hinting at the whole DC situation. And Wolverine just doing the that he does in Mission Impossible in his fight scenes. And just when he does it, it's like the claws come out. It's just nice little touches like that towards Henry Cavill playing this variant of Wolverine, which if Wolverine ever had to be recast, I think Henry Cavill should be next in line. Some people said it was going to be Daniel Radcliffe. Now, that would have been a really big letdown because he's not as buffed and he's not as... I'm not saying he's not a bad actor, but I feel like Henry Cavill was more of a favourite one for me seeing as a new version of Wolverine. And when they did the Wolverine's comic run where they had Wolverine fight the Hulk, and they had the shot of that in this movie, and they even did the whole claws coming out of him, and then seeing Hulk through the reflection, which is what my friend told me was a actual front cover for the comic of Wolverine vs. Hulk, which I was like, that's a nice little touch. That's a nice little touch. I need to read more comics, to be honest, but these little touches and details from what I've heard about this movie from my friends who I went to watch it with, they're just great. Made me appreciate the movie a bit more. Speaking of, can we just appreciate the fact that Wolverine finally has got his mask? After 20 plus years of waiting, we finally got it, and it was amazing. When he was fighting the Deadpool Corps, that was amazing. But other than that, that's all I have to say about this movie. I feel like there's so much more I want to talk about with you and express with you, but I've tried to like cram it down and try and relax about this one and try and give you my opinion on what I think about this movie rather than going fully chronological of each scene and what I think of it that way. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Thank you all for watching this movie review. I really enjoyed doing these and I think I might do some more in the future. I've been really enjoying this style of content lately and I've been getting a lot of nice feedback about it. So other than that, thank you for watching the video and I will see you later and bye bye.